All right, the real season has started. Las Vegas, only 4 races left in the season. My final 4 was Larson, Byron, Hamlin, and Bell. And after that race, I am feeling more confident. I'm feeling very, very confident that those 4 will be it. So Vegas comes and goes. Homestead is up next, which is also going to be a really good race, hopefully. And then Martinsville, which is usually great, but with this car, we don't know about. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Sunday. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment down below with your thoughts on the race. And it was a really straightforward race today. I don't think there was a lot of craziness. It was mainly just right rear tires going off a cliff, but luckily not for any of the playoff drivers. Larson almost, very, very closely, decided to end his day, but he saved it somehow. I don't really know how. I think the wall definitely saved him instead of him saving the car, but he was able to save it and not lose control, and he actually ends up winning the race. And this race was really honestly straightforward. Larson, Bell, Denny Hamlin was up there, Brad Keselowski was up there, and William Byron was always kind of looking around. That was that. There was not really anyone coming from the back. You needed track position. That was something that's super, super important. We're seeing it more and more, even at an intermediate track like Las Vegas, where you have multiple lanes, and you should be able to go find clean air when you need to. But the fact of the matter is, guys, with this race car right now, with how the teams have developed, it is just very aero sensitive, even at intermediate tracks, and everyone's very close together. We saw that with Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. loses his track position because of a bad strategy call at the end of stage 1, and he can't get it back until literally the final run of the race, where he gets a long green flag run and he's able to kind of catch guys that are falling away, and he's able to crack into the top 10, and that's where he ends up eventually finishing. And we'll talk about Truex and all that coming in a little bit. If you were running up front, you were staying up front. If you were running mid-pack or in the back, you were staying there. And that's not ideal when it comes to racing, but it's not like a short track issue. I'm not really even complaining about it. I think the racing today was really good. I thought some of the racing on the restarts was really good. It's just as simple as you do have to go find clean air, which is a little bit annoying. You know, I would like for drivers to be able to follow another driver. It seems just as bad, if not worse, than what Gen 6 was in terms of following another driver. I would like for that to be a thing, that you can actually get up to the rear bumper of someone, try to get them a little bit sideways, but at the current moment that's not possible. So it's a different type of racing, but it's okay. You know, it's mainly just, you know, the fact of the matter is these teams are adding so much aero and so much downforce that they're finding. I mean, just look at qualifying, right? In qualifying through 3 and 4, guys, you're going full throttle. Think about the corner speeds that these guys are, like, they're not even lifting in 3 and 4, and this is not the 550 horsepower package. So they have horsepower around 625, 650, but these cars are just so lethally quick in the corners. They have so much grip because these teams have been able to find grip, and it's really NASCAR's job to, in the offseason, try to take that grip back away. And it's always a balancing act between NASCAR and the teams, and both trying to do what they have to do, which is NASCAR's trying to create entertaining racing, and how is the best way to do that, and the teams are just genuinely trying to go as fast as possible. And in the modern day, aero is the way to go as fast as possible. So they're always going to be trying to find more aero, try to find more downforce in areas of the car to make that car stick and go as fast as possible in the corners, and that's just how it is. I was a little bit surprised by guys like Tyler Reddick. I feel like he would perform a little bit better, but he didn't really. And the round of 8, well, let's just pull up the points actually real quick, because points is what we need to talk about as we in this final round, even more than race results, to be honest, because there's only 8 drivers. We can easily focus on each one of them and see how it goes. We'll start at the bottom with Chris Buescher. Just never had the speed, right? Keselowski had the speed. Chris Buescher did not have the speed, which is a little bit weird. Usually you have Keselowski and Buescher kind of mirroring each other. It's very rare that one of them is very quick and one of them isn't. Those cars are very, very close and very, very identical as the team works together. But Buescher did not have a good run today, while Keselowski did. And unfortunately, Keselowski's not in the playoffs anymore, but Keselowski was really, really good today. Out of the non-playoff guys, he was the best. Ryan Blaney is in 7th, 17 points behind. But this is what I wanted to talk about, actually, is that Ryan Blaney actually had a pretty good day. Like, he finished in the top 10. He ran in the top 5. He had a pretty good day. The problem is, this is what happens when you get into the round of 8. Every single person above him, except for Tyler Reddick, basically finished better than him, except for Truex as well. But Truex has an insane gap, right? So if you come into the playoffs with very little playoff points as Ryan Blaney did, then it's not going to work out. You need to literally top 5, top 3 your way into a top 4 position or win a race. So Blaney with a solid day, where if this was the round of 12 or the round of 16, would have been perfectly okay. Round of 8, it's not. He's still 17 back, and I think for Ryan Blaney, his best shot will be at Homestead next week. But as we have seen all season, Penske don't have speed. Today was actually one of their better days. Logano was a little bit better today. Blaney was definitely better today. But you're not going to find random speed in the final 3 races. We've not seen them be fast at short tracks, and we've not seen them be fast really anywhere except for a super speedway race. So I don't think Blaney is going to, in my opinion, make it. I would love for him to make the final 4, but he is definitely an outsider. He needs chaos. That's what he needs. I don't think you're going to get it at Homestead. Homestead's usually a kind of a straightforward race. It's a good race, but it's straightforward. You don't usually get a lot of chaos at Homestead. He needs insanity to happen at Martinsville. He needs tempers to just go crazy. But even at Martinsville with this race car, right? We talk about how you can go full throttle at Las Vegas. Well, guess what? Corner speeds at Martinsville are also much higher, which increases the dirty air. And it's a 1-lane track. So with the last few races we've had at Martinsville, have not been ideal. So will you actually get that chaos that you need at Martinsville? That's my worry for Ryan Blaney. Tyler Reddick's the main disappointment today. Tyler Reddick did not run well today, which was a surprise. Las Vegas, Homestead, these are the tracks I think Tyler Reddick, and we all think Tyler Reddick is really, really good at. What this does for Reddick is that next week is must win. You can't focus on trying to point your way in. He's not that far behind Christopher Bell or Denny Hamlin, but we're talking about Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin, and even Martin Truex Jr. You can't expect these guys to have poor runs, so you have to go out there and win stage 1, finish top 3 stage 2, and try to win the race. That's what you need to do. You need to give yourself at least the chance to head into Martinsville below 10 points of a deficit. So if he can gain 7 points at Homestead on Bell, Hamlin, and Truex, if he can gain 7 points on them and get that cut line down to below 10, then Reddick has a chance. But ideally for Tyler Reddick, if he wants to make Phoenix, he has to win Homestead. It's a track that is tailor-made for him. It's also tailor-made for guys like Christopher Bell and for Kyle Larson. And Kyle Larson's not going to be giving gifts or freebies, so don't expect Larson to just not run well at Homestead. He should still run well, so we'll see how that goes. Christopher Bell had a really good run today, and he had a good day. He came into the race with not as many playoff points as Hamlin or as Martin Truex Jr., specifically William Byron. But look at Bell's gap to Martin Truex Jr. and William Byron. Truex Jr. and William Byron had massive gaps heading into this race, and now Bell is basically only 11 points behind Byron. Huge. He's only 4 behind Martin Truex Jr. So he's basically wiped out Truex's advantage in one race. Again, huge. You need to make those two, which in my opinion, I thought at the beginning of the playoffs, those two were guaranteed. I thought William Byron and Truex were guaranteed to make, well, the round of 8, yes, but then Truex kind of started fumbling, and Truex is still fumbling. So at a certain point, you have to look at it and be like, well, you think Truex is going to turn it around, but he was the only playoff driver that didn't even have a top 15 finish. Not top 10, top 15. Today was his first top 15 finish in the playoffs. So you can't expect Truex to turn this around. So Truex is the one that I left out. I have Larson, Byron, Hamlin, and Bell. Truex is the one that I left out because at a certain point, I can't trust that you're going to turn this thing around. So that's why I have Bell, and that's why it was a very, very important run for Christopher Bell today. Denny Hamlin, not the best of days, but it was like an average day. Again, he ran up front, but the car just didn't have the speed that he needed, so it was a little bit of an average day. Truex, like I said, bad strategy call, ends up running 20th for the majority of the race after that, but that final run saves him, and he's able to get into the top 10. And William Byron with a similar day to Denny Hamlin in terms of you're good, but you're not great. And this is just what the round of 8 does. When you have a driver like Kyle Larson, who is amazing, and he wins, next thing you know, Byron, your massive gap that you had is not as big as you think, especially when Christopher Bell has as good of a day as he did as well. So I think this sets up beautifully for the next 2 races, because you have William Byron, Truex, Hamlin, and Bell, who are the 4 guys that I believe will fight it out for the 3 spots, with the kind of asterisk or the miracle of Reddick at Homestead. And that's not, I say it's a miracle, but we expect it, right? You expect it, I expect it, I think the garage area expects it, is that Tyler Reddick is going to be strong at Homestead, Miami. So you expect that to happen, and if he wins, then it all goes to hell, because then Bell, Hamlin, Truex, and Byron, 2 make it and 2 miss out. And if 2 miss out on that, that's huge. Any one of those guys that miss out. And then you have Blaney and Buescher, who are wild cards. In my opinion, Ryan Blaney and Chris Buescher are pure wild cards. They need to win. They can win, but it would be unexpected. It would be unexpected for Chris Buescher or Ryan Blaney to win. So that's the playoff standings. Let's go to the race results for Las Vegas today. Now, what I don't have is the amount of stage points, but Larson, Bell, Blaney, Byron, and Denny Hamlin all scored solid stage points. So that's why in the point standings that you saw, they had good days. But even some of them, for example, Denny Hamlin finishes 10th, right? But again, he got stage points. Ryan Blaney in 6th. He got a few stage points, but he was already trying to make up such a big gap because he had basically no playoff points. Larson wins, Bell in 2nd, Kyle Busch ends up finishing in 3rd with Keselowski in 4th. Just think about it. If Kyle Busch was able to win last week at the Roval, which he was so close to being able to do, that would have been a good day for him with a 3rd place finish, but unfortunately just was not able to get it done. Keselowski had a really good day in 4th. Ross Chastain, yeah, he just randomly decided to show up today for the first time in months. He showed up. He was running really well, led some laps, was trying to force his way to the lead, lost some time, made some mistakes, but he had a fast car. So it was nice to see actually Ross Chastain, who for the last 2 years has been kind of like a breath of fresh air, really, really quick. But since basically April of this season, he has just been non-existent, really. So nice to see him back up there. Ryan Blaney, like I said with Penske, not the speed that they want, but a solid, much better than what they've been doing. William Byron, just an average day. Tyler Reddick, again, just an average day. Didn't really run well. Didn't score stage points. So that's why you see Reddick there in 6th, is because Blaney got some stage points. Byron got some stage points. Bell and Larson and those guys, Denny Hamlin, got stage points. Tyler Reddick never really did. He didn't really get much. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but he did not get much stage points. Truex Jr. saves his day. He was below the cut line for the majority of the day, but he saves it by able to make his way through the field on that final run and end up finishing in 9th. So really, really good for him, because he needs to seriously pick it up. It starts with qualifying. He needs to continue to try and qualify consistently and make sure he qualifies up front. Today he did a better job. Or this weekend he did a better job with the 4th place. But then don't lose your track position and just try to get back to what you were doing in the middle of the season. The middle of the season is where Truex was insane, right? It was the middle of the season. So he needs to try to get back to that form if he can. And Denny Hamlin, I expect Denny Hamlin to be really strong the next 2 weeks. I actually didn't know if he would be strong today. I think at Homestead and at Martinsville, especially at Martinsville, I think Denny Hamlin will be incredibly strong. So just keep an eye out for him. Chris Buescher in 11th, Joey Logano in 12th, Bubba Wallace, Eric Almirola, Daniel Suarez, Harvick, McDowell, Dillon, LaJoie, and Harrison Burton all there. So you can see all the playoff guys 11th or better. So none of them really had bad days. Buescher, Hamlin, Truex, Reddick. Which is why I'm saying, like, Buescher and Blaney, they are so far behind, but it's because everyone had basically a solid day. When 8 of the drivers finished in the top 11, yeah, everyone basically had a day that's needed. And like, for example, none of them blew right rear tires today. That can happen at Homestead in stage 1. What if Christopher Bell in stage 1 at Homestead blows a tire, has an issue, wrecks? Again, these things are what you can't afford, especially when everyone is so tight in the points. So that's going to be something. I feel like it's going to happen. It always does happen. Someone always gets a mechanical failure or some really bad luck. It's going to happen in the next 2 races. It's just about who does it happen to, which is why I say my pick of Larson, Byron, Hamlin, and Bell. I feel confident, but you can never feel too confident because there's always something that could happen. And now Kyle Larson becomes a championship favorite, right? William Byron, Truex have been championship favorites, but now that Larson and Cliff Daniels do not have to focus on Homestead or Martinsville, they don't care. They're just going to go straight to Phoenix. They're going to focus on Phoenix. That is a big deal for them. Remember, that is how he won his championship. He won the first race of the round of 8 and then just was able to not really care about the next 2 races. Same with Joey Logano. I think in both of Joey Logano's championships, he won the first race of the round of 8. And I think in the one he didn't, which NBC showed the stat, I'm trying to remember from the top of my head, in the one that he didn't, which was 2020, which was the one Chase Elliott won, he also won the first race of the round 8. So Logano had a really good run there. It's important, guys. It's not a random coincidence that the champions end up winning the first race of the round of 8. It's a big deal. I like to use a football analogy. Imagine basically qualifying your way out of the Champions League group with 2 games remaining. You can rest your players and you feel better. For the teams, you can rest. Like, you can genuinely rest and do a lot more resource and studying on Phoenix, a lot more R&D, wind tunnel, whatever it is. You can focus on the simulator. Even Larson himself doesn't have to care about Homestead or about Martinsville. He can just go run lap after lap after lap on the Chevy simulator at Phoenix and try to find things and work on things for the next 2 weeks. And the teams and the crew members will feel relaxed. It's a big deal that when you head into Phoenix, you are absolutely fully prepared, while everybody else, including someone like William Byron, who has so many wins in the season, has been so good this season, he's only 9 points to the good. They can't do that. They cannot focus on Phoenix. That's where Larson's advantage comes in. You guys can see the rest of the results. Some guys down here, blown tires. Briscoe, blown tire. Ty Gibbs, tire literally shredded off the pit stop because they didn't even put it right on. Alex Bowman, blown tire. Carson Hocevar, blown tire. And then Chase Elliott with a penalty, actually. Chase Elliott had a penalty, but he ran like absolute dog crap the whole time anyways. I don't know the point standings of the owner standings, but Elliott's involved in that, and he's going to have to win one of the next 2 races if he wants to get involved in the owner standings, which Elliott has not shown any speed whatsoever this season of winning a race, so I don't think that is going to happen. Sorry, Chase Elliott fans. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow and next week for the race review as well. We will be live streaming on Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday night this upcoming week. We have NIS at Homestead. We have league racing at Kansas. It should be a lot of fun. We'll have the normal videos as well every single day. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And do you agree with me, Larson, Bell, Hamlin, and Byron? That's my 4. I'm sticking with it, and I really, really hope that it comes through because I think that championship battle between those 4 guys would be awesome. Even though I believe Truex deserves to be in it, but at the same time, Truex does not deserve to be in it based off his playoff performance. I'm sorry, you just don't. 6 straight races without a top 15. I don't care what format we're using. You don't deserve to really be competing for a championship if that's the case, but that's the point of the playoff points, right? He had so many playoff points. Regular season champ. I mean, does he deserve it? It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. Maybe Truex for Bell, I guess, but I have this affiliation with Christopher Bell. I think he's absolutely incredible. I just want to see him continue to do well. And shout out to Bell's pit crew for not drastically screwing him up. You did kind of maybe cost him the race by letting Larson's pit crew beat you guys out, just saying. But with Bell's pit crew, it's mainly about don't lose 15 spots on pit road. So if you don't do that, you're kind of succeeding. So at least they did that. They gave Bell a good result. Great finish as well. I didn't even talk about the finish. I mean, yeah, let me actually talk about the finish because that was right. We thought it was over. We thought Larson was gonna pull away, but then and Rick Allen's talking about it like, oh, Larson's gonna win. We can focus on Phoenix, and on the side of the screen, you notice that it goes from 1.5 to 1.3 to 1.2 to 1.1 to 1. And then they kind of go away and they're showing Truex past Denny Hamlin. I kind of lost focus of the gap. They come back to the gap with 5 to go, and it's 0.5 of a second. And I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. And so it was really simple as Larson wanted to run the bottom. He actually didn't want to run the top. He wanted to run the bottom. Lap cars were battling in front of him, so he couldn't run the bottom, which allowed Bell to run the top. And Larson made the conscious decision of not wanting to run the top, and his reasoning was not leaving the middle open. And I actually think that was a smart call because Bell was a little bit far enough away where if Larson entered top, Bell would just turn down to the middle. So I think Larson did a really good job, but he ran really close, especially when Bell gets in a really good run and coming out of turn 2, runs the top in 3 and 4, and Larson has to go to the middle because the bottom is not open because the lap cars are down there. And to be fair to the lap cars, they didn't mean to get in the way. Like, they tried staying out of the way, but they didn't know probably that Larson wanted the bottom lane, so they just stayed on the bottom, and it was just complicated. So coming out of turn 4, Larson is able to get a good enough run where even if if he didn't block, I think he still would have been fine. But Bell tries to get around him. They pull a little mini block, but Bell does a really good job of not wrecking him, and just really clean racing. And Larson ends up winning it. I think one or two more laps, definitely Bell would have got him. But you never know. You never know. Maybe Larson would have mirror drove him or something. But it was definitely very close to the end. A really good finish. A good race. I don't want to say a great race. A good race. It's just mainly the car, guys. It really is just mainly the car. It's just the end of the season. The teams have found a lot. And so NASCAR has to work on the offseason to get those advantages the teams have found and kind of take that back away. That's what the teams are. That's what NASCAR is going to have to do. Hopefully, the final 3 races are really good. Expecting 2 of them to not be great in terms of Phoenix and Martinsville, but I am interested to see what Homestead is like and see how that goes. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. Subscribe if you're new, and comment down below with your thoughts and opinions on the race and who's your final 4. See you guys later. Peace out.